Have you ever felt like something was deeply wrong, yet convinced yourself it was normal? How many times have you justified someone's behavior simply because you cared for them? What if I told you that a significant portion of your emotional pain doesn't come from what others did to you, but from what you continued to tolerate? Not because you're weak, but because somewhere along the way you learned to call dysfunction love. This video isn't about blame. It's about clarity. Carl Jung didn't write to comfort. He wrote to awaken. And today, through the lens of his deepest insights, we hold up a mirror to what you've been tolerating in the name of love. These aren't just opinions. They're truths forged in the fire of the unconscious, truths that, once seen, can never be unseen. Jung believed that what we fail to make conscious will rule our lives, and we will call it fate. If you're unaware of what you've allowed, you'll keep repeating it. So today we uncover 10 psychological patterns that Jung, through his deep understanding of the soul, would never want you to tolerate. Before we explore deeper, take a moment to subscribe to Deep Psyche. Because here we don't just explore the surface of psychology, we uncover the soul beneath it. Let's begin. 1. Emotional manipulation disguised as love. When someone makes you feel guilty for expressing your needs, that's not love. It's emotional control. Jung taught that when the soul's truth is denied, it falls ill, and illness begins the moment. We abandon who we are just to stay connected. Emotional manipulation may mimic care, but it rewires your instincts and convinces you to associate love with discomfort. 2. Contempt masked as honesty. "I'm just being honest" is often a cloak for cruelty. Real honesty speaks with compassion, not sharpness. Contempt doesn't help you grow. It slowly erodes your self-worth. When truth is used to dominate, you're not in a relationship, you're in a battleground. 3. Control packaged as protection. When someone limits your freedom in the name of love, what they reveal is not devotion, but insecurity. Jung described this as the shadow's way of asserting power. True love expands you, false love cages you, and slowly you forget what it felt like to breathe freely. 4. Gaslighting, the assault. On your inner compass, it begins subtly. Your reality questioned, your memory doubted. Jung said, "Everything that irritates us about others can lead to an understanding of ourselves." But if your reality is constantly replaced by someone else's version of truth, you're not learning. You're being dismantled. Gaslighting doesn't guide, it disorients, and in that fog, you lose trust in your own soul. 5. The dismissal of your inner world. You share your dream, your joy, a spark of creativity, and it's mocked, minimized, ignored. Jung emphasized the importance of integrating the authentic self. If your passion is belittled, you're not in a partnership. You're in spiritual suffocation, and your soul begins to retreat into silence. 6. A chronic lack of empathy. Empathy is the bridge between souls. Without it, there is no true intimacy. If your pain is dismissed, your emotions invalidated. That's not love. That's slow emotional starvation. Lack of empathy makes you shrink your needs just to be tolerated, but real connection doesn't ask you to go invisible. 7. Repeated betrayal wrapped in apologies. An apology without change is not growth, it's management. Jung knew that repeated behavior is never an accident. It's a choice. When betrayal becomes a cycle, you begin to confuse endurance with love, but your soul was not made to be tested again and again. 8. Selfishness disguised as independence. Autonomy is healthy, until it's used as a shield against emotional reciprocity. If you're always reaching out, always making the effort, you're not in a relationship. You're holding it together alone. Jung would call this a toxic imbalance of energy. And love, real love, does not make you beg to be seen. If this video is opening your eyes to what you've been tolerating, pause for a moment. Breathe. And remember, awareness is the first act of freedom. If this message speaks to your soul, subscribe to Deep Psyche. Together, we walk the path from unconscious patterns to conscious healing. 9. Sarcasm as a weapon. Passive-aggressive humor isn't harmless when it leaves you stung. Jung observed that what is unspoken becomes projected. When jokes feel like jabs, you're not being laughed with. You're being diminished. Sarcasm normalizes pain. It teaches you to smile through disrespect. And slowly, you forget how to defend your dignity. 10. Emotional withdrawal as punishment. The silent treatment, unanswered messages, going cold when things get tough. This isn't peace, it's punishment. Jung saw this as a regression into the shadow. It creates fear where love should create safety, and invisibility where you once hoped to be held. Emotional exile is not maturity, it's manipulation. Jung didn't teach us to judge others. He taught us to recognize ourselves and to name what we've been tolerating. This is not bitterness. It's the beginning of liberation. Because every time you make excuses for what hurts, you teach your psyche to settle. And your soul did not come here to settle. It came here to breathe. Healing begins. The moment you say, "This is not love, this is manipulation. This is not honesty. This is humiliation. This is not mine to carry anymore." You are not overreacting, you are awakening, and that is the beginning of everything. If this reflection touched something in you, share your truth in the comments, or simply write, "I choose clarity over chaos." And if you haven't already, subscribe to Deep Psyche, because your healing deserves a space that sees you, honors you, and walks beside you. Thank you for being here. See you in the next video.